A series about redeeming sinners in hell. Quite crude sometimes and touches on various hard topics, but with a lot of heart, and I really like it, and I feel that people that do too have connected with many of its themes. So, these are top life lessons I've found for them, and at the end of the video, I'll also give my review and final score of this show. Also be warned, this video will contain spoilers for the first season. Well, let's begin. These are my personal top 3 life lessons from Hazbin Hotel. Number 3. Sharing our problems with those who are in the same boat makes those problems lighter. It will be an understatement to say that You're a Loser Baby is my favorite song of this season. Not only is very catchy, but the lyrics, the message, I really like how at the beginning it seemed like Husk was going to say something nice to Angel does. But nope, if Angel believes he's a loser, Husk agrees. But it's clear he doesn't say it to offend Angel. It's not like in the Mario movie, where Mario and Donkey Kong have a similar conversation.
And well, my dad thinks I'm a joke too.
Yeah, well, your dad's right!
You know what?
Even though I found both jokes funny, in the case of Husk, he's connecting with Angel, and knows that Angel has been pretending that things are alright, when in reality, he's dying from all the potion in his life. I do believe that Angel does has it worse than Husk because of what Val makes him do, although we have hints that Husk may be suffering more than it seems, but it's not about comparing, it's about connecting. In the end, we're all messed up in our own special way, so we aren't so different. There are indeed problems that we can't simply imagine a solution, or there really isn't any. But just talking about them, more with people that are facing something similar and we can trust, we make things much easier to handle. And well, there are cases in which we can't find these people. After all, we all hide most of our problems. A good option is to look for support groups for that particular problem, but if it's not possible, it's also helpful to put things into perspective. Thanks to overpopulation, there are around 8.1 billion humans on Earth, so there's almost a 100% chance there are people that are facing a very similar version of that problem. So we can make the question, what if they're handling it better, and how? Answering that question can make us realize there are other ways to at least manage that problem, and remembering that we aren't unique, making our problems weight less. Number 2. You're never fully dressed without a smile. Our cheerful radio demon brings us a lesson that he lives by. Why put a bad face when you can smile? It's more charming towards others. It hides your intentions from your enemies, and it can even lift your mood. There's a famous study conducted in 1988 in which a group of participants had to hold a pen between their teeth, making a smile, or between their lips, making a frown, while they were watching a funny cartoon. The result? The ones who watched the cartoon while having the smiling expression reported they found more humor in the cartoon than the ones making a frown. This is called facial feedback. Basically, our facial expressions affect our emotions, as if our face were a remote control and pressing the smile button triggers happy feelings inside us. Another impressive discovery way ahead of its time was that of the subscribe button. It has the same effect. You can try it right now. In any case, this is why it's important to keep ourselves with a good smile in our face, whenever we can, as it can make us have a better mood in general. That's what I would have loved to say. It fits quite well with the lesson, but I lied. But not about the subscribe part, that one's true, please come back! Let's remember Alastor does not necessarily have joy behind that smile. Facial feedback is actually an hypothesis. In 2016, the study I mentioned previously was conducted again in order to replicate it across 17 different labs in various countries, but it failed to reproduce the same results. If we think about it, there's a lot of people with depression that hide their pain between a smile. There are times a smile can lift our mood a bit, but forcing this too frequently is just suppressing our emotions, and not expressing them is terrible for our mental health. To be honest, I don't blame Alastor for keeping his smile. I believe the theory that he's most likely incapable of not smiling because when he makes the deal with Charlie, there are stitches all around his lips. But this doesn't take away the validity of this lesson. There are times where we need to be most presentable, fully dressed, and a smile fits perfectly with this. And when we're facing an obstacle, a smile can be really inspiring to our comrades. But like any good clothing, it depends on the situation. And for the people that we are closest to, we don't need to be fully dressed, neither faking a smile, when we can be our true selves with them. Number 1. Redemption is not easy, but it's possible. I love that this show is not reserved about how the sinners are. This really is hell, and they really deserve being here. Lucifer gave up on trying redemption. They're hopeless. But Charlie believes in this dream. One moment in the show that I loved is when Sir Pentious is found to be a snitch working for Bugs, and he's ready to be punished. The show could have done the trope I hate the most in any fiction, the liar reveal. That, to be fair, is kinda done later, but very quickly. But they didn't do that here. Quite the opposite. That's why Charlie is here. It starts with sorry, it's a simple song, yet it's very true. People that want to change have to feel regret for the previous actions. And guess who was the first sinner to redeem? Isn't it so cool taking into account the religious context that the first sinner to be redeemed is a snake? In any case, when I was in my edgy phase as a teenager, I believed that redemption was not possible. People simply couldn't change, and there's truth to that. Redemption is hard, and someone else will not change another person unless that person wants to change. But it's not impossible. There are people that truly want to become better, but don't believe in themselves. And that's why people like Charlie are so important. They open that possibility. And this doesn't mean to forgive bad actions, but if we truly want to be as close as a true heaven on earth as we can in the long future, the most virtuous solution is not punishment, it's redemption. There's also Adam, that shows the opposite of Sir Pentious. Which again, isn't it so cool that they share voice actor and that one killed the other? But anyways, virtuous people can have their downfall. Adam earned his place in heaven, but most likely as time passed by, he became corrupt, and it led to his doom. Both redemption and corruption are possibilities, and I think being part of which leads to which is our friends. People with good values can help us improve, or the opposite type of company makes us worse and even scares us sometimes. I really hope the show continues dealing with this concept, as it's a hell of a process, but for those who manage to redeem themselves, they are truly blessed. As for my review, the moment I heard this show was about the daughter of Lucifer trying to redeem sinners in hell, I thought the concept was interesting. Even if the pilot isn't very good, I will probably watch a bit more once the series comes out. And then I saw the pilot. It was funny, it had good songs, and Alastor reminded me of Bill Cipher, and I loved that crazy bastard. And then after the pilot, I waited. My pain was relieved thanks to Help of Us, but then finally the show released. I had found a new reason to renew my Prime Video subscription besides Invincible and The Boys, and I got to say, it was pretty good. I had a good time from beginning to end. There was only one roadblock. Well, besides the fact that the series finished too quickly, I really left wanting more. But yeah, there was a part that I didn't like very much. I wish it was spent on something else, the liar reveal with Baggy. I completely got the motivation from Charlie. She really doesn't care about the fact that Baggy was an angel, but that she lied to her of all people. Baggy, you should know your girl better. From all people in hell, she's the most likely to forgive you right away. And I understand this is kind of hurtful to remember, but this is valuable information that wouldn't have distracted Charlie in the trial. But I'm glad things got solved in one episode. Besides that, all the characters are fun. I also like swearing helps to characterize each character. Angel Dust has a whole dictionary, the Archangels do not swear at all, Charlie is a bit in between, mostly when she loses her cool, but I especially liked Alastor. I have always liked when characters reserve their swear words for special moments, and Alastor is very twisted, but when did he swear in the show? Only when Mr. Lucifer himself was messing with him, on a dead battle where he almost dies, and of course, Susan. And the songs? Bangers, right to my playlist. You already know which is my favorite, but the close seconds are Hell is Forever alongside You Didn't Know, but it might be because I just love Trials in general. With all that said, my final rating is an 8 out of 10. I cannot wait for the next seasons, which I hope to rate even higher. Well, that was a productive video. I will be really thankful if you share it with your friends, and please give it a like and subscribe. I'm very desperate. I also hope you enjoyed the video for this season of the show, because I will be doing a video to every new season. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. This has been Productive Fiction, and I hope you have an amazing day.